One of the key things is know what the standards are. Well, if you're going to take discipline on somebody, what are acceptable and what is unacceptable? Now, I can say to you, in our organisation, punctuality is something by which we're set a standard. I run training courses, I have to be there at 9 o'clock to set up, I have to start my courses at 9:30 or whatever time has been agreed with a client. Attendance. Well, if I don't turn up, nothing gets done. Now, some people may say, well, I'm only off for a day, but it may be affecting certain things. So, certain things over a period of time when they become consistent infringements then may lead to disciplinary. You will have talked to somebody and set through a performance behavioural action plan before it gets to that point, and you will have talked to them about the third part of that. What is performance? What are expected elements of performance between you and the rest of the team and them as an individual? Now, it may be appearance, how people look. In some organisations, it doesn't matter how you turn up. In some, though, such as working in a hotel on reception, it's very important to wear the uniform and to make sure it's clean, tidy, hair, makeup, any form of jewellery are abiding by company standards and company guidelines. And the last one is conduct. Now, one thing I would say about conduct is make sure you specify what acceptable conduct is and make sure your staff know what unacceptable conduct is. Conduct is what we call an umbrella word. It means a lot of things. Attitude is an umbrella word. It means different things to different people. If you're going to go down the disciplinary route on somebody's behaviour or conduct, you need to specify what key action the person has taken, what procedures they have countermanded or broken, and more importantly, you will have had to put in some sort of action plan, performance behavioural plan for them before you get to the disciplinary process. Certain organisations have certain rules set into their company codes of employment, or company handbooks, but you have a right, if you are in a disciplinary, to be accompanied by a trades union representative or somebody within the organisation. Not necessarily somebody outside the organisation. That person has a right to accompany you to ensure that it's done correctly, not to speak for you. You need to ensure that, except for areas of gross misconduct, and this is providing you know what gross misconduct is, that you refrain from, or under no circumstances, dismiss somebody for a first breach of discipline. There are ways in which you can go through the gross misconduct towards dismissal, but you have to ensure that for the first offence you go through the formal procedures. Do not sack anybody on the spot for a misdemeanour, even if it's gross misconduct. There are processes you need to go to. Now, you can speak to your HR department. You can ring ACAS, Advisory, Conciliation and Arbitration Service, on a helpline, and they will give you some advice. But do not go into disciplinary on the spot. Ensure that action is not taken, point number 3, until the case has been thoroughly investigated. What you're going to have to do in a disciplinary is ensure that you have a full evidence of what the performance or behaviour that particular person has conducted, so that you are able to conduct it from an evidentially based process. Ensure that all individuals are given a full explanation of any disciplinary penalty imposed in writing. Ensure they fully understand the rules and the circumstances and the consequences of their actions before, during and after a disciplinary hearing, and provide the right of appeal. And specify how and when the individuals can appeal the decision. Once a decision has been made in disciplinary, then the employee has the right to appeal if they feel that there is further evidence or they feel that is unfair, and that they have the right to take it to the next level, and that's the appeals process. We're not going to talk about appeals process today, but it is something that you need to be aware of. By now, I'm either talking to you about things which you already knew, and it's a nice refresher, or you might be thinking, goodness gracious me, I'd better do something about this. If you're in the latter rather than the former, then you're absolutely right. You do need to do something about it. And if you do go down a disciplinary meeting, again, 3 things. 1, write to the employee. Inform them of the allegations against them and the basis, and invite them to a meeting to discuss the matter. Step number 2, hold the meeting to discuss the allegations. Now, as we mentioned before, the employee has a right to be accompanied and notify the employee of the decision. So you will have the meeting, and once the meeting is adjourned, you will discuss the findings, and then you will inform the employee of your decision. Step number 3, if the employee wishes to appeal, then you hold an appeal meeting, as we've said, and again, the employee has a right to be accompanied. and then they will be informed of the final decision. These are the three basic steps that we've talked about before in disciplinary. Now, if you're an employee looking at this video and you're thinking, okay, well, at least I know a little bit more about what the process is, then good. Because remember, you have rights in terms of employment within an organisation. But if you're an employer looking at this, remember, you also have a right to ensure that your employees do a good day's work for a decent wage and for good working conditions and management by you. I hope, whichever side of the fence you're sitting at, whichever way you're looking at this, I hope that this gives you information to take you to the next stage. If you are going to go to the next stage, my advice is seek advice, ensure that you go through the right channels, don't do anything on a whim, and make sure that what you do, both from a manager's perspective or employer's perspective, is both legal and ethical, and good luck in the future. But then I always say, if you have a clear plan and you work towards it, you shouldn't need luck. Thank you very much.